Hello and welcome to our program this evening on how to overcome fear and anxiety. We are so happy to have you. My name is Mandy Pullen Barr, and I am a concierge specialist with Vesta, in addition to being a Clarity Catalyst facilitator, a Reiki master, and sound healer. And I am here today with my friend and business partner, Karen Cartwright.
Yes, hi, welcome everybody. As she said, my name is Karen Cartwright, and I'm a health and life coach and a Clarity Catalyst facilitator or trainer, and was just really delighted to be able to bring these tools to you tonight. Both Mandy and I met through our Clarity Catalyst training, and we both realized how much value these tools have for people going through a divorce, and that's why we brought it to the divorced community, just really hoping to have you overcome some of this fear and anxiety that sometimes becomes overwhelming and paralyzing. So we're excited to bring these tools taken straight from Clarity Catalyst, which Mandy's going to share a little bit more about that program and what it is about.
Yes, thank you. Before I do that, I just would like to introduce Jennifer Grace. Jennifer Grace is the lead train the trainer for the Clarity Catalyst program. And what that means is that she trains and certifies people like Karen and I to facilitate this course, to be able to take this program and the messaging out to the masses, which we are delighted to do specifically for our community that's impacted by divorce. And as Karen mentioned, the tools from tonight's program were pulled directly out of our 8-week course. And the 8-week course originated at Stanford University. And we love that this program is like directly from an Ivy League school, from a master's degree course in business. And the gentleman who designed the program, his name is Dr. Michael Ray, created the program for his students because he felt like they were graduating with all of the knowledge, but they were lacking the creativity, authenticity, and the clarity to really be able to like step into their full potential out in the workforce. And very quickly, this program became one of the most popular courses at Stanford, and is still one of the most popular courses at Stanford. And it was taken out of Stanford for the first time in 2002 for 500 widowers that lost their spouses due to the 9/11 tragedy. And it was a year after the tragedy happened that they took the course. And many years later, when they were interviewed, they said that there wasn't a day that goes by that they don't use some component of the course, the teaching and the tools to help them navigate their daily lives, which is just, I think, such a testament to how powerful this all is.
Excuse me. Yes, a really great program here. And I'm going to share my divorce story, which was in 2003, quite a while ago. I had a time where I was just completely paralyzed with fear. I'm sorry. Yes. Excuse me. So, yes, I'm going to talk about my divorce story where it was in 2003, which is quite a while ago. But I had this time where I had went with my spouse at the time, and we had moved out of a community that we were very comfortable in and had spent a lot of time in. We went to a new community, and sort of an effort to save the marriage. I knew we were in a lot of trouble because it was definitely an abusive situation. And I found myself in this new community, and knowing that things were sort of unraveling really pretty quickly, I felt there was a safety issue for my sons and I at the time. They were young preteens, and it was at that time where I left and literally, I hate that expression, but with the clothes on our backs, so to speak. But I was just really in that just paralyzing fear where I just didn't know what direction to go. And I just knew safety was our first concern. So it was during that time that I only wish I had these tools to get through those sleepless nights and those just big fears of uncertainty about the future. I was living with friends, and my sons were staying on their friends, floors, and I was on their couches. I mean, things like that. It was a very uncomfortable time, and I had self-help books and relying on family and friends way too much. And it was just when I became certified in this program, I knew, gosh, if I had one or two of these tools, that would have helped tremendously. So that is why I'm here tonight or today. And I know right now for a lot of people, it does seem overwhelming, but I am here to tell you, and I know Mandy as well, when you quite literally fast forward, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. These are my sons now, grown and doing well in life, and we're all thriving and happy and good. So again, bringing these tools to you is just a really important part of my journey for you, is to have some of that peace that these tools, I hope, will provide for you right away.
Thank you, Karen. I know that it is triggering to kick all that back up again. So I appreciate you your sharing your story. So I just wanted to talk about anxiety and what do we think the true cause of it is? And the true cause of anxiety, it's usually attached to a thought, probably a worrisome thought, or maybe it's a regretful thought. So here we are, we're in the present moment, and then all of a sudden this inner critic starts to kick in and you begin to worry about the future. So for Karen, she was worried about where is she going to live? Where is she going to work? How is this going to impact her future? And then all of a sudden, maybe at the same time, she was also regretting the past. And, all of the while taking her out of that present moment, causing that fear and anxiety that she shared with us. And I think that one of the most important parts of this is that if we can, hear ourselves tell this story or tell our own story, and we can start to label it and identify it, we can kind of go from this place of worry and anxiety and go to a place of curiosity. And we can take that curiosity and shine a light on it so that by asking questions, we can try to get to the cause of it. Because usually it's an imagined reality of something that hasn't happened yet. So it was, for Karen, it was, where is she going to live? How is she going to support her boys? That was the worry around her future. But so many times we worry about the future and it hasn't happened yet. And we don't know if it's going to happen like this or not, because we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what really lies ahead for us. We only know what we have in this moment right now, in the moment that we're in.
Right.
So, and sometimes there is an edifiable worry if you don't have enough money to pay the rent or to buy food. And that kind of worry is different because that's going to put you into action mode where you're going to get clear on what your plan is and how you're going to tackle a problem. And that's almost a little bit more empowering rather than the worry and the anxiety aspect of it.
Exactly. So that's what these tools are about, is mindfulness, really. And what and why mindfulness? And what is mindfulness? And the definition is the art of paying attention to the present moment with a curiosity and not judging it of good or bad, and just having an openness without having to fix it or change it. And it's really not being so resistant to what's happening. And that's what's causing that fear and anxiety, is we're resisting it so much. And guess what resists persists. And so sometimes we have to move towards that sharp point or that uncomfortableness. I know I like visualizations myself and being uncomfortable. But when I think of being uncomfortable, I used to white river raft where you go through the rapids and the guide always says, if we hit a rock, we need to go towards the rock because that will keep the boat from flipping over, because if you were to go far from it, away from it, it's going to tip you over. So they had the expression kiss the rock. So I always kind of visualize that when I'm really feeling in that resistance and that pain. But again, when we're able to look at the present moment where peace lies, we're able to respond to life instead of always reacting to it. So this is where all of these tools are really about, is being mindful and being in the present moment and not worrying about the future and regretting the past, but just having that presence in that moment.
I love that. Because there are no drugs that will make you immune to stress or pain, or that will magically solve your problems. It will take a conscious effort on your part to move in the direction of healing and peace. This means learning to work with the very stress and pain that is causing you to suffer. So this beautiful quote was written by a gentleman who is considered the godfather of mindfulness. And he writes this to say that there aren't any drugs that are going to make you immune to stress or pain. It's going to magically solve all your problems. And it's going to take a conscious effort on your part to move in that direction of healing and peace. And this means that you need to look and work with the stress and the pain that's causing you to suffer. And it's not comfortable. But there are two types of people. There's the person that starts to go through the dark night of the woods and gets really scared and turns around. And then there's the second person that goes through the dark night of the woods and gets really uncomfortable, but stays on the path and comes on the other side where the light is. And that is what transformation is. And that is what we're inviting you all to partake in, is to push through that uncomfortableness so that you can get to the other side where you can have true peace and joy in your life. And the tools that we're about to share are going to help you along the way.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we're going to take these 10 tools taken again straight from our Clarity Catalyst 8-week program. And again, just being mindful and getting back to that present moment and learning how to deal with things that do come up and how we can best deal with them. And again, respond and not react. And so we can stop all the obsessive thinking and really start living our life from a peaceful, easy way. So with that, let's start with tool number 1.
All right, get curious. So we touched on this at the very beginning when we were talking about, how to approach our anxiety and fear. And that is with the lens of curiosity. And what that means is starting to really ask intentional, powerful questions so that you can begin to understand what is going on and what is making you react, think, and feel in a certain way. Our minds are so unbelievably powerful and cunning that we could be in a movie theater watching a movie and are so entrenched and absorbed in the film that we forget that there's a reality that is happening around us, and we begin to think that we're part of the film. And the same thing can be true with in our minds. We can get so carried away and caught up in our own fear, and I love the expression lathered up over something that hasn't happened. We don't know if it's going to happen. But if we just shine that light on it and we ask questions and we get curious as to where is it coming from, it begins to diffuse the situation so that you can calm down that inner critic and you can kind of get back to your breath and begin to just calm yourself down so that you can become present and, maybe take that that fear and start to take action on it by asking those questions.
Absolutely. Well, good. So tool number 2 is anchoring, and it's a very powerful tool because it gets us back into that present moment where we already said that's where peace lies, and you can actually shift into that by being present and anchoring to that. And it's hard to think about, well, what does that really look like, being present? And it's proven that if you are present, you're not worrying about the future or regretting the past. And we have a special tool that we use. It's called the 5 senses check-in. And in order for you to get an idea of what it feels like to be in that present moment, I'm going to quickly walk you through this exercise that I feel like you could do anywhere when you're really in that nervous fear and anxiety that's overcoming you, and just take this few minutes to do this, to do a 5 senses check-in. So what I'm going to ask is that we're going to begin actually with our eyes open, and we're going to begin by looking around the room, and you're just going to notice the colors and the textures and fabrics in the room. And maybe there's something you've never seen in this room before. And look at the furniture and really see all around you. And now let's close your eyes and deeply breathe in and notice the smell. What smells can you detect from the room that you're in? And remaining with your eyes closed, let's invoke the sense of sound. What are the sounds coming from inside the room that you're in? And what about the sounds that you're hearing from outside the room? Next, let's invoke the sense of taste and gently run your tongue along your teeth and swallow. And finally, touch. Notice the air. How does it feel on your face? And the way the clothing feels on your body. And now notice your breath. How on the inhale through your nose, it's cool. And how on the exhale, your nose is warm. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I'm pretty certain everybody was having a moment of being in the present.
Thank you. So lovely. I always want to take a little siesta.
Well, now is the perfect time with meditation.
All right. So tool number 3 is meditation. And this is always one of the tools that gets people pretty stirred up. One, because most of us do not look like this gentleman here underneath the waterfall while we're meditating. We're usually having arguments with our mind as our thoughts are racing around. So we're going to define meditation as having a consistent meditation practice. You do it 4 to 5 times a week. And ideally, you're doing it 10 minutes or more a day to really achieve the true benefits of the practice. And similar to those of us that are looking to have a healthier physique or a stronger body, whatever it may be, we don't go to the gym once a year thinking that we're going to have a 10 body, right? We're not going to have a 10 mind if we're only meditating, once in a while. It's the consistency, it's having it be part of your regular routine. And the good news is, folks, is that there are lots of different meditations out there, from taking a walk in nature and just observing the colors, doing something where you're listening to the sounds of nature. It could be something where you're listening to music like the sound bowls to help kind of like get you outside of your body. It could be a guided meditation where you're going to meet, your future self. And there are also lots of apps that are available for folks to download, and many of them have free options such as Headspace, Calm, Insight Timer, which is my favorite. And it is really, truly just such a wonderful way to start your day or to end your day, or even like put it in the middle of your day as a part of your, one of your breaks. And the other amazing part, not only is it good for your brain, but it has so many benefits to your body. It's been known to reduce the gray matter in minds for folks that have dementia and Alzheimer's. It's been known to help with hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, and it's being prescribed by Western doctors as a good thing to implement into your self-care practice. So we encourage you to meditate. And the other part of it is that, like, when you're with us on our 8-week journey, we all hold each other high. We all hold each other accountable. And, we do that on our weekly check-ins on how our meditation practice is going.
Yeah. And it is amazing how much it can change your day, because I notice days when I don't meditate and how things don't go as smoothly and they're just a little more erratic and a little more chaotic. So it really is a wonderful practice.
Yeah.
So number 4 is body awareness. And this is always a good thing, because we want to kind of start really getting in touch with where is our anxiety and fear, and getting curious about where it is in the body. And, fear is like a bully. If you run away from it, it gets bigger. If you run towards it, it beats you up. But if you get present with it, it can dissolve. You can really feel that, releasing that from your body. And so, again, talking about getting a little uncomfortable, I want to just bring you to a little bit of uncomfortableness for just a moment, so you can have that awareness. And that's really what we're talking about here, is just having the awareness of where that fear sits in your body. And for everybody, it's just different. I know for me, it was in my stomach. Some people have it in their head where they just feel that tightness. So I just want you to, for a moment, close your eyes. Once you've identified where that fear is, and just 1 or 2 exhales, and just sort of get grounded for a moment. And just think of that anxiety. And I know probably a lot of you, it's because of the divorce, or maybe it's financial. And let's just bring that situation up for just a few seconds. And let's just notice where it is. Where are you feeling it? Again, is it in your head? Is it in your throat, or your shoulders, or your belly? So now that you've sort of located it, let's just think about, you can even put your hand there if you'd like, and just take in a few nice, long, deep breaths. And with every exhale, imagine that fear just moving through your body and out of your toes. Just breathe it in and out. And just imagine that fear going down your body, down your legs, and out your toes into the ground. Breathe in and breathe out. Just moving that fear down and out. And just one last time, again, just breathe in all good feelings and let that fear just be released out of your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
I love that sensation. I could feel the energy releasing out of my toes into the earth.
Yeah, there's like a lightness that comes from.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah, we don't need to hold on to it.
All right. So our tool number 5 is journaling. And it's important to state that we're not talking about the kind of journaling that you might have done when you were in middle school, where, dear diary, we're talking about journaling that is going to allow us to get a deeper understanding, a deeper knowledge of who we are and what are we yearning for, and what is it that's weighing us down, and sometimes we get like these incredible nuggets of information and inspiration that helps us to move our life forward. There's two different kinds of journaling that we do during our 8-week program. And we're actually going to have an exercise as well this evening. But where the first one is we have journal prompts. And the journal prompts are typically built around whatever it is, the module that we're working on for a given week. So whether it be on silencing your inner critic, or if it's dealing with mindset, there's going to be journal prompts that are going to help you go a little bit deeper with that. Really kind of going back to that place of curiosity, shining that light, asking those questions so that we can get clear on, what is going on. And the second form of journaling is more of a it's called twilight, where we are just waking up, or perhaps we have just nodded off. Einstein used to do it where he would have a fork in his hand, and he would, as he was starting to fall asleep, the fork would drop, it would wake him up, and then he would start writing. And he would get lots of great ideas for inventions. And, maybe when you're starting off doing this, you're not getting these $1 million nuggets, but eventually over time, you will get information and downloads and things that are going to help you, move your life forward and, or help you get clearer or unstuck or whatever it may be. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of building on the experience that Karen just took us through on the body awareness, I want you to take just a minute and write down, what is the name of your fear, and describe where it's living in your body. What's its color? What's its texture? Any sort of descriptive words or qualities that you could use to, just describe what you were feeling. So we're going to go ahead and ask you to pause the video and, take your 2 minutes or 3 minutes to write out this journal prompt. And when you're ready, return back to the video for our next journal prompt.
Yep.
All right. Welcome back. So building on the first journal prompt even more, what is the worst that could happen if this fear had taken over? And you know what? We don't often allow you to kind of go down that rabbit hole of, gloom and doom, but we're going to give you 2 to 3 minutes to do this here. What is the worst thing that could happen? And again, pause the video, give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to journal on this, and then come back for our last one.
Get back here.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
And journal prompt number 3. What is the best thing that could happen? What is the best thing that could happen? This fear doesn't actualize. This like monster doesn't take over your life. That worst thing doesn't happen. What is the best thing, the best outcome for you? And again, give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to answer this question and come back to us when you're done.
Yeah, and again, this is, before you go, a very powerful one, because when you do write it, put it where you can see it and you can just reread it. It's just so powerful when we do that.
Absolutely. So, it's a reminder.
Yes. And then we'll see you back for the next tool. All right, well, welcome back from the journaling exercise, and we hope that you found that nourishing and you had got some clarity through it. So our next tool is number 6, which is so powerful for any time we're just going through a hard time, to get outside of ourselves a little bit and go be of service. I actually, again, didn't have these tools, but did that when I was going through my divorce. And I took my sons with me, and what an incredible time we had. We did the equine therapy where you put kids, special needs kids on horses. And it was just something being around horses and the kids. It just really got us out of where we were at, living with friends and not having a home. And it's just so powerful to just take ourselves out, because there can be worse things out there. And when you're of service, it just puts your life back in perspective, that it's okay, that we're all going to be okay. And we're all kind of going through our journeys. And I think, Mandy, you did the same thing when you were going through a divorce.
I did, yeah. I'll never forget, and it was probably still to this day one of the best pieces of advice that I received. It was on I guess it was probably 6 months or so after my divorce, and it was my anniversary. And I remember I was kind of like coming unraveled a little bit, and
Yeah.
I reached out to a friend, and I was, telling her how I was feeling. And she said, I want you to find somebody who is hurting more than you are and be of service to them. And that just this wasn't an expression back then, but that was like a total mic drop moment for me, where I was like, wow, realizing that I was kind of like so consumed with my own self that
Yeah.
I didn't stop to think that there were people that were hurting more than me, and that, my sadness was going to go away. But there were, people that, to your point, like, that were struggling much more than I was, or Michael and I were. And one of the things that we did was we would go to a homeless shelter, and we would meet up at a church. We'd gather all the supplies that the community had delivered
Yeah.
for the evening, and then we'd drive it into Boston, and serve dinner. And it was the most rewarding, fulfilling time that we had, as mother and son. And I think it both really made us value so much of what we had. And our little 2-bedroom apartment, right, became kind
Yeah.
of like all of a sudden this like sanctuary, and this place of just love, rather than like it's a small 2-bedroom apartment, right? Everything is
Right.
perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I definitely encourage everybody to go out there and be of service.
Yes. It can even
Yes,
just be helping an elderly person or a neighbor, or just something
true,
simple.
true. Okay, we're getting down here to number
Oh, worry
7.
time. All right. So this is Karen and I often joke we have our favorite tools
Yes.
throughout the 8-week journey. And worry time is one of our tools that we offer. And that is kind of like to change our relationship with with worrying. And the idea behind it is that, you're going to set an alarm on your phone, at whatever time you think is best for you. For me, it's, in the early evening around 7, as I kind of like unwind from my work day, and like, gear up to be like, I'm now remarried. So, gear up to be like happy wife, happy mom, all those things. And, but so during the course of the day, as things come about that you feel worried about, you are going to put it on a shelf, and you're going to say, sorry, not right now. It's not worry time. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I wake up in the morning in like a complete panic, and I'm like, nope, not worry time. Worry time is not until 7 o'clock. And typically what happens with most individuals is that once the alarm goes off for your worry time, you end up chuckling, because what you were worried about at 6 a.m. when the alarm went off, and and whatever is happening at 7 o'clock at night, it probably don't even remember.
Yeah.
And then sometimes what happens with me is that I will, forget what I was worrying about, but I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to use my worry time to like have a brain dump and write down my big list of things to do,
Yeah.
so that I can, be organized to start my next day. But We definitely encourage you to give that a whirl. Set an alarm on your phone for whatever time of day, and have that be your worry time.
Yes. Yeah, very powerful. Another very powerful tool. So a beginner's mind is an interesting thing. A lot of what Dr. Michael Ray from the Clarity Catalyst took was watching kids, because kids are so good about being present. I mean, they're in it, when they're doing their Legos or whatever is popular now. That's what my kids were always playing with, and being so present and so observant too of what's going on, without giving it any of the judgment, or they're looking at things with curiosity. And again, that's what we're trying to do, is get to that moment where peace lies. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. One tool that we use is a 15-minute mindfulness color walk. So before you go out taking your dog for a walk or wherever you go, think of a color, yellow, purple, and just you're focusing on looking for that color. And it's amazing how present you are, because your mind can't go start worrying, because you're thinking, oh, I got to find that color, yellow or purple. And it's really amazing, because you think, oh, I've seen this neighborhood or the place you walk for so many times. But when you're really focused on that, all of a sudden you see something that you've never seen before, or a car drives by with that color. So it's pretty amazing when you really get in that present moment of just looking for that certain color. The other tool we use, it's an alarm we set on our phone. And this has been a favorite of mine, because it's amazing how much we are not present. We're either worrying about the future or regretting the past. But it's literally setting your alarm on your phone. You can do it 3 times a day or once a day, and have it say, be here now. And when it goes off, you kind of go, oh, where was I in that moment? And it's really a great way to start becoming very aware of where our thoughts are and where we are during that time. And again, when we hear that, be here now, it gives us a moment. Okay, I need to be present again. And you're just so much more effective in life, with yourself, with your kids, with your at work. So anyway, those are the two, I guess, in one, of having a beginner's mind.
This morning I did something a little bit different for my meditation. I did a coloring. Yeah, I got a coloring book while we were on vacation, an adult coloring book while we were on vacation, and I set my alarm for 15 minutes, and I just sat and I colored, and it was really kind of amazing at how I just kind of felt like I melted into the pages, and I just was so, I don't know, just thinking about the green for the tree, or the color that I was going to use for the sky. And it really was such a lovely way for me to start my day today.
Yeah, they really do call those mindfulness coloring books, because you are present when you're coloring, which is a great thing too.
Yeah.
So good. All right.
So tool number 9. All right. So this one is sometimes, people are like, oh, you don't understand, but we do understand. And we say this with all love and gentleness, is that there comes a point along our journey where we have to trust and accept the process that we're in. And really the goal here is to try to shift our mindset from this happened to me to this just happened. And it really changes the power dynamic. Instead of being this victim, thinking that, all these awful things happen to me, why me, and just accept that for whatever reason, it didn't work. And, trust that there is something better for you on the other side, and you just don't know what it is, but you get to create it. And it can be whatever it is that you want. And accept the process that you're on, and really embrace this as an opportunity to take the time for yourself and look inside and determine what are the things that I can fix or adjust or change so that I can have a better view, better mindset, better outlook on life, because we all deserve to be filled with joy and gratitude and love. And some of that begins with this first step here in trusting and accepting where you are in your journey.
Absolutely. And just that knowing that the universe is conspiring with me and not
Yes,
against me. Just that switch in thinking can help so much.
absolutely.
All right. Well, we're down to number 10, which is always just kind of a fun one more than anything, is meet your badass. When we have that fear and anxiety, and maybe it's even creating a character, a fictional character, or maybe it's someone that you really, admire and think, wow, they're super strong and they get through it. And it's
Yeah.
really kind of channeling that inner badass. And so kind of have fun with that one. Like who could I really become?
Yeah.
I know Jennifer Grace, our trainer, I think she has her crazy fear stuff like jumping out of planes. I wouldn't do that, but she wanted to, and she had to create a character. I think she named her Debbie DeLorean, who's like a race car driver and a badass. So she was able to kind of get into character when she was jumping out of planes and doing things like that. So again, this is just a more of a fun one to create that, because we do all have that inside us. We just have to bring it out.
Yeah. I
So,
remember gosh, it's been so long, so to go back to it, but I do remember when we were first, divorced, and having to go to like concerts or going to Michael's games, and kind of just feeling like everybody knew and like everyone was watching. And even though I didn't know about this, but I do remember like having that like time in the car where I was like a little pep talk, and it was almost like I was talking to my badass self, like, you can do this. You're going to this game for your son for no other reason.
right.
Right. And you still have like, there are still people that you can connect with and meaningful relationships that you can make just because, you're not married anymore. Again, it's a story that I'm telling myself rather than
Right.
it being like the reality. And I found that really kind of helped me just like get the, as they say in Yiddish, get the chutzpah to
Yes.
to
Yes.
to do something. So
All those firsts that we have to do on our own,
yes.
baseball
Yeah.
games and
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. So I think that being able to call on that part of you, I think
A
is
little
huge.
badass. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, we have gone through all of our 10 tools, and here's a little snapshot of them. And of
Yes.
course, it's just a little reminder of all of them.
Yeah. So number one, we're going to get curious, become the audience and ask powerful questions. Number two, anchoring. Karen guided us through the beautiful five senses check-in. Meditation, master your thoughts and engage with the audience. Body awareness, learning to locate where the fear is in the body. Journaling, using powerful prompts to get answers, or that twilight type of journaling that we mentioned as well. 6, be of service, help someone in need. 7, worry time, set a time of day designated specific to worrying. 8, a beginner's mind, be here now, or our color walk. 9, trust and acceptance. I know the universe is conspiring in my favor. And 10, meet your badass self. Create a character you can embody when you need a little extra.
Yes. All right.
Well, thanks for that, Karen.
Yes, that was really good.
It was wonderful. And we
think
just wanted to take a couple of minutes and share some testimonials from a couple of our graduates in our course. And we also have a video that we can share of some people's experience taking the course. And we really do hope that you'll consider joining us for our 8-week course on mindfulness and emotional intelligence to really begin to help you heal and move forward, regardless of where you are in the divorce process, right? Whether you're still in that contemplating stage and you want to use this course as an opportunity to kind of like take that apart a little bit and really dive into, is going the route of divorce and separation the way to go? Or perhaps you're really in the throes of the process and you're overwhelmed with, all the documentation that you need to get, or making these big decisions and understanding your financials. The community could be a great place to get insight and guidance during that as well. Or perhaps you're part of our post-divorce community and you're looking to really just kind of launch into this next chapter. We can help you get clear and see what that vision is. So regardless of where you are in your divorce, we really hope that you consider joining us. And
Yeah, I think it's, again, just so many valuable tools that you can use right away. And I think we both can't stress enough how much of a community is built during these 8 weeks. You have times that you get to share, and you're being able to kind of go through that process with a peer partner, and you get to talk about your story. And it's just nice to have somebody else that's kind of going through the same thing. So, and just showing up for yourself to make these changes in your life is a very powerful thing. So we're really excited to and hope to be able to have you in our next 8-week program.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us and learning these
Thank you.
10 tools. And there will be all sorts of links and other assorted things that you need in additional follow-up communication or in the recording platform for tonight.
All right.
So thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
All right.